Next, we're excited to welcome artist and designer Ben Copperwheat. He's known for his signature bright colors and bold designs, which have been seen on Beyonce and Jay-Z's oldest daughter, Blue Ivy. She's a fashionable little lady. Welcome, Ben.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I love all the colors you're wearing.
Thank you.
Joan Rivers, let's talk about it. She's featured on your design.
Right.
Were you just a personal fan and wanted to incorporate her in your clothing, or?
I was a huge fan, yeah, and I saw her live a number of times, and especially at the Laurie Beechman Theatre and the Gramercy Park Theatre. And before she died, I do portraits as well as making clothing, like what I'm wearing.
Awesome.
And I had this idea to do a portrait of her. And then she went into hospital and she was sick. And then I just really sped it up and finished it because I wanted to make a homage to her.
Aww.
So I did put it onto t-shirts, canvases. It's a digital print, so I hand draw, and then I go in and put all my different printed textiles in. And actually, I was just at Melissa Rivers' book signing last week at Temple Emmanuel, and she signed my book, and I gave her a print, and she really loved it. So that was
sure
awesome.
she did.
Yeah.
Especially, that's awesome. How did you first get into art?
I always wanted to be an artist. I was drawing as a young kid. I used to draw Disney characters and Madonna and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I enrolled into a local art college, and then I did a degree in fine art and textiles. And then my master's at the Royal College of Art in London, I did printed textiles. So then I got more into fashion. So and I moved to New York in 2003, and I worked for Calvin Klein for a while, and then I've been doing all my own different work since then. So.
Your work is very bright and neon and colorful.
Right.
Why were you drawn to that, especially in fashion, where I feel like a lot of times you see muted colors and people want to be kind of, I don't want to say like hidden, but people always think like black and grays and neutrals are chic.
Right. For me, it became a form of personal expression, and also it just makes me happy and it makes me feel good, and it feels like I'm wearing my art and I'm wearing art, and it's evolved over time. It's evolved to the point where I wear my pieces all the time, but it would be where I just wore a t-shirt. But I was like a goth at one point. I was a heavy metal kid when I was a teenager. So I just, I think I had a lot of bullying growing up at school and that. So I found that it just brought me joy, and it kind of makes me feel visible, even though I'm actually kind of not really an extrovert person, but it kind of gives me a visibility, and also it brings a lot of other people joy. That they'll be like, wow, I love that coat, or I love that Joan Rivers, or I love that portrait you did on your shirt. So to just get a reaction, and I always get positive reactions.
When you mentioned about being bullied when you were younger, was art an escape for you away from those bullies?
Yes, definitely. Art was the only class that I really enjoyed. Like all the others, I just found boring.
I always tell anyone, I was bullied in high school and middle school, and I ate in the nurse's office because the girls were awful.
Yes.
And I remember now when I speak to young girls that are going through, or boys going through a hard time, I'm like, high school isn't forever.
No, exactly.
It doesn't define you.
Yes, you're kind of just stuck in that place, and you just got to get through it. But it's really tough.
It can be tough. Speaking of kind of breaking away from that and becoming the successful artist that you are and designer, Jay-Z, Beyonce's daughter, Blue Ivy, she's been in your clothes. What was it like seeing a celebrity kid wearing your designs?
That was a really great moment. I'm good friends with Manuel Mendes, who's Beyonce's personal assistant. Mm-hmm. And we've known each other for a long time. And he reached out to me and said, Ben, I love your work. I think it would be great to do this jacket for Blue Ivy on the Super Bowl because Beyonce was performing in 2016. So he sent me actually quite a lot of pieces of clothing, like shoes and jackets and this, that, and the other. And I did a lot of different pieces. I got paid as well. They always paid. And then Gwyneth Paltrow just took that picture with Apple Martin. So it was just, she actually had 4 costume changes before she even got to the game. She was wearing Marc Jacobs in one, Gucci in another. And it just happened that was the one picture that got out there, and it just blew up, and I got really good press out of it. And I've done a few other pieces for them as well. But if you don't get a picture, it's pretty, it's difficult to kind of say, oh, I did this. So.
Is it for a designer, is it very important to have celebrities that are going to wear the clothes, like you said, being in pictures, getting the brand out there?
Yes, it is. It's definitely a great experience. But if you don't get the picture, you need the picture basically. But because she's a little girl, obviously parents are protective about the pictures, and so it was just a really great moment. And then I've done other bits and pieces for them. I actually did pants for a Halloween costume last year, and Beyonce was going to dress up as Aaliyah, and Blue Ivy was going to wear the Tommy Hilfiger pants, but Kim Kardashian got there first and wore that outfit, and then they just scrapped it all. So she never wore it, and I never got a picture. So
Oh, that's a pain.
That's kind of how stuff can happen, but you know.
Yeah, these celebrities and their fashion changes can mess up everything for a designer.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see your next collection.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
You.